Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was so good.
All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Metal Maniacs podcast. I'm your host, Jay Ingersoll, and I'm here with a man that's going through changes.
I'm going through changes, your boy Modd. Yeah, was it Black Sabbath or Ozzy?
Ozzy, boy.
Ozzy. I know it's Ozzy's voice, but...
And kind of, I guess, Eminem. Did you ever hear that? He did like the remix of that.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty damn good, actually. Yeah.
Anytime M picked up a chorus that I liked, like what he did an Aerosmith one too.
Yep.
Good. He picked some good choruses for his songs. It's cool.
But I mean, Ozzy, he's the king, man.
Yeah. I love his voice. I wish there was more Ozzy material that I enjoyed. He's got like a handful of songs that I love, and I'll go and see him in concert, or I would back in the day.
Yeah.
He's not really coming out for anything now.
You're going to see him do nothing, no.
Not unless I get on a plane for the last one. But yeah, I love Ozzy's voice. I wish he was on more stuff that was heavy. Like I would love to hear Ozzy on something super heavy. But
like during Osmosis, like Thunder Underground, that was pretty heavy.
Okay.
You kind of had, the No More Tears had a few select joints on there that was pretty heavy.
That's my song. Like No More Tears is my jam. Like anytime that's on in the car, I just crank it up. I'm like, you got to hang with this one. This one's good. And
I fuck with, like Over the Mountain. Fuck it. I just like some of them jams, man. They're kind of old and dated, where they kind of sound like that old, but just that the guitar is just so ripping on all that old Ozzy stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Hold a near and dear place in my heart. But so how you doing today, buddy?
Good, man. I know this is going to be a few weeks after we went, but thank you for yet another concert experience.
Yeah,
I mean, you did it up for me on the birthday with the BT Bam, and then you just got some free tickets. It took me out to Coheed, Cambria, Mastodon, and Periphery.
Yep.
Man, what a good show.
Yeah.
Fucking Periphery. God damn it.
Yeah. That's what stuck in my mind when I left. Like, I was impressed by Mastodon. And like I said, we were talking a lot, but Mastodon's just not my thing. It's like they almost get heavy, but they never get heavy enough for me to just be like, and I'm not always need to be everything heavy, but it's kind of like you're so close to being heavy, you're just kind of fucking teasing me at that point. So it's just like, and they're talented, great sounded. They were awesome. Love the stage show. Love the 10-foot fucking monster thing that came out. That was cool.
Yeah, they had both Mastodon and Coheed had excellent visuals because they utilized the gigantic monitor behind them. Periphery just had the banner up. I was going to ask you if Mastodon did anything for you in the live setting to sway your opinion on them, or if it's just basically neutral, same.
Yeah, it's
didn't really like love them anymore after the fact.
Yeah, it was just, I can take it or leave it, really. Excellent live. I always know they're great musicians, and I'll watch all their documentaries online of them making stuff, and and I'll put occasionally on maybe a little bit of Mastodon here or there if they got a new something coming out, but it's just still really middle of the road for me. Talented dudes, great musicians, but then when I hear, is his name Troy?
Yeah,
his voice. I'm like, I just want to put on Killer Be Killed because it's like so much heavier, and his voice sounds awesome in that. You know, so that's kind of more my speed. But yeah, I mean, I've always held those guys on the highest regard. Drummer, man,
Ron,
fucking so awesome.
Yeah,
but it's just all upbeats, man. I just give me some halftime, give me some groove, give me something I can punch someone to. I can trot around and run around like I'm the horse, like, but that's not my speed either.
Yeah.
So
for me, I like an era of them, especially. You go back to the 2000s where you've got Blood Mountain, and before that, I think was Leviathan, and then after that, you had Crack the Sky. So there's like a span of albums where I'm like really big into them. And then as you go forward, there's a lot more material, obviously, since then, and I hadn't paid attention to all of it. I'm like you. I'm kind of like, I enjoy it fine, but I'm like, I need something with a little more bite on it. Like, I really need some crunching metal. Whereas these guys, and I think we said it at the concert, I was noticing more than ever, like the Motorhead vibe. Yeah. There's a lot of Motorhead feel to some of their stuff.
Yep.
And I like that darker, slower paced stuff that they do, mostly on Crack the Sky. And they're the type of band I want to go out and see them do like that album front to back, either on an anniversary or, every year or two we go out on the road and we're going to do that whole album and then a select number of hits, like the double live experience. Yeah. We're going to do 2 sets. One's the full album, the other one's all our hits. when your band starts getting a long catalog like that, you kind of, I would hope as a fan, like you'd be able to see those types of shows, and I think Mastodon could pull it off. I think they have enough fans to where people would go out and see that.
Yeah.
Coheed too. They're another one. They could choose any album that they want.
Yeah, I've seen a few people online talking about that. Like, I wish they would have brought out some of the greatest hits.
Sure.
Some of the bigger ones, because they played a lot of the newer stuff. And I haven't even noticed that because I know the newer stuff because I listened to it and it's fresh in my mind. And
right.
A few of the ones I knew just from, before. But yeah, they got such a catalog too. It's crazy. You get 20, 25 years deep in the game plus, and then all these albums later. And
I just think it's badass that those two bands, whoever made the decision, brought Periphery out on the road with them, because it was a good bill, the two, Mastodon and Coheed. Then you throw Periphery in there, and I'm like, man, I don't want to miss this. So we were both kind of playing it up to the last minute. I especially was going to just see, can I make it? Can I not make it? I didn't know that my wife had the night off until the week of. So already I was ruling it out. It's a Friday night. Wife's at work. I got to stay home with the kid.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. And then she's like, well, I got Thursday, Friday off this week. And I was like, oh. And then I'm still eyeballing it. I'm like, well, we'll see. Maybe she's got plans or something. I didn't know what was going on with those 2 days off. She just took them off because they gave them to her, basically. And then you hit me up and like, hey, man, you want to go to this concert? Yeah, actually, a lot. Really, I've been posting the flyer for months from the webpage, or from our socials, just to let people know, hey, got a good metal rock show coming to town. So yeah, Periphery on that venue. Then I don't think I've seen a heavier band there. I've seen Avenged Sevenfold, Tool. Those are heavier rock bands, but Periphery, I mean, they were slapping me in the face immediately with some of those riffs.
I guess it just kind of depends too, because back in the day, that Slayer Pantera show, were you there? Did you go to that? Yeah, so I went to that, and I would say that
would probably
it's
rival
a different kind of heavy though. Like Periphery's that just like genty, just fucking neck snapping, and Slayer's just the thrash metal. So you kind of compare it, but a Periphery blew me away. I guess my question for you: why would they not have a whole bunch of stuff going on too?
Oh, like in the background,
light show, MIDI light show. They're all about all that, but it's like as soon as Mastodon went on, they had this big production. And I get it's co-headliner, but I was just wondering, like, Periphery couldn't even had a little, you couldn't have had a video guy throw some video stuff together, or do you think that's something that's in the contract?
I think
it's like this is a bare minimum type thing. You're on for 20 minutes, you get your banner in the back, and that's it. Because they had their giant logo, and I thought it was cool, but there was nothing. And then as soon as Mastodon came out, you're like, holy shit, it's like a fucking light Japanese drone show out here or whatever, it's like
so that's the type of Periphery with the banner, cool banner, like you said, massive. What is this thing, like 20 by 30 feet or something?
I think it was just on that projection screen or whatever, so it was just projected on there. So
all right,
video file or
is that what it was?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice. But then Mastodon goes on, and this is the sort of thing where you're like, I'm glad I'm not tripping on psychedelics right now, because I'd be losing my mind. There's so much motion on this screen behind them, and you get lost in looking at that, and there's just all the other lights going on too. They didn't utilize the strobe, but I noticed that Coheed kind of had a bit of a strobe thing going on when they came out. I can't, I don't have any kind of condition. I'm not going to go into a seizure if I see the strobe lights, but I also I can't look at it.
Yeah.
So I have to look down, at my knees or at the floor at the back of a seat or something until that flashing light stops, and then I can look back up, because it's like I'm looking at the sun. I'm immediately seeing spots, and I'm not even trying to look at the strobe, but I can't not. It's just taking away everything in the rooms. I hate it. I hate strobe lights.
The one thing that's crazy about concerts lately that I've noticed, and I noticed it bad when we were watching Protest the Hero.
Okay.
The light show's going off, and the lights keep going across the crowd, so you just keep getting that blast in the face of a light, and I'm like, keep that shit on the band, shoot it towards there, don't shoot it towards me, because you're fucking my eyes up every time you shoot that bright light into my eye. I'm trying to watch a band and you keep fucking shooting this. It's like, you got to calm that shit down, point it towards those guys. That's the light show, don't be pointing it towards me. What the fuck,
nobody's trying to see us.
Yeah, exactly. And then just it's like, oh,
stop,
oh fuck,
please stop. Yeah,
so great show, dude,
great concert. So I had to bring it up. That's how removed we are from the show. This is just a couple days ago, so if you're watching this 3 weeks down the line, you missed a good one if you weren't out at that.
No, it was a great show. Periphery, I've slowly became a fan of those guys over the years. A band that I've rode off for a while. It's just one of those things where it's the contrarian effect for me, where this is so great, and then I'm like, I'm not The sleep token effect. This is great. Well, fuck that. I'm not listening to it. If everybody wants to brag how good it is, it's probably trash.
Yeah,
but that's just me being.
Yeah, it's a band that I slowly grew to like over the years. Their last album really did it for me. I had heard them before. Yeah. The last couple albums, there was Hail Stan.
That was great too.
And I don't know, they've got a couple even prior to that, so they've been doing it for a minute. They got a lot of good work, but yeah, big fan of that band these days.
So great show. But today we are here to do reaction episode 18. So our reaction episodes have all grown up. They're in adulthood now.
18, they can go to war and die.
Yeah, and they can move out of the house now. So with that being said, are you ready to get into this today?
Yeah, we did enough talking about music. Let's listen to some.
So we did not have Dylan go over these. I was trusting in the fact that I was putting out that I wanted to hear metal and heavy bands, so we'll see how this goes. If not, we might have to go back to Dylan. So Dylan, if you're listening, we might have to use your services again if this episode takes a dive bomb on us. So we'll see. But the first band that we have is Ghidora. So it just says, okay, here's a link to one of our music videos. LOL. Hope you enjoy. That's what I got from them. I went on their Facebook yesterday getting ready for this episode, and it just says Ghidora is a highly aggressive original metal band from Hannahville, Michigan. Rez Metal. Where the fuck Hannahville is, I don't know. Hannah, Montanaville, don't know. But booking email, ghidora56@gmail.com, and this is a YouTube link. So when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm looking up where Hannahville, Michigan is right now. They are... Jesus, they're way up in the UP.
Oh, Jesus.
By Escanaba.
Okay.
Life is fucked. Time is lost. Identity's trapped to what the cowards set among us. The role you play, it's like rats in a cat. Scribe to find what my soul bears. Your maliceness, your back and down. Scribe avoid with my soul bears. My pain is endless. My eyes broken. Don't try to get too close. Blow suffering to end. You're blinding through the threads you say. No one tried to understand. Now I'm broken right in front of you. The rats in a cage. Like run you blind. Scream, avoid with my soul bears. You're helpless. You're breaking down. Scream, divide with my soul bears. We're miles apart. The judgment sounds wrapping my heart until where's the lovely one? Mine, your broken mind. Heart until now I'm over you, and that's okay. The role you play, it's like rats in a cat. Scream, avoid what my soul bears.
Ghidora. Was it Screams of Anguish?
Screams of Anguish. It kind of just started on me, and I was like, well, fuck it. I'll just let it roll.
Yeah, cut me right off. I was going to go into the Hannahville history.
Yeah.
And
sorry, and I was going to let you play it at the same time so you could watch the video too. But
did I miss a video?
Yeah.
I missed. Oh, they had a whole ass video. Damn, I just thought it was going to be like a lyric video. So that was pretty good. I actually liked the song. I thought they had a good use of like a chord progression with the melody at the same time. Like they're hitting the chords and they're and then the vocal had patterns to it, which I thought was pretty cool. And I was hearing as as she's rolling off of the fry vocal a little bit there would almost seem to be like a clean taper to it at the end of it. And I was thinking to myself, man, that would be like a cool voice to use, like if she could sing or, you know, some kind of clean vocal just in the way that it would roll off of that fry and she would kind of come into like her own voice or something. I was like, I was almost waiting for some clean vocals to happen. I feel like you got the style of music for that because it's very structured.
Yep.
And it lends itself to like a good, you know, well-written song structure metal band where you can kind of count on verse, chorus, and throw in a guitar solo in there too, perhaps. But other than that, I think, you know, I would call some of the production quality into question. I mean, but I'm not here to drag it. I just think that obviously when you listen to it, it's got more of a demo feel to it.
Yeah.
It like needed to. A lot of things could be polished and tightened up there in the recording. But the song itself, the music is good. The vocals were cool. I love the groove. I love the songwriting. I love the vocal patterns. And I love that I could hear the melody and the guitar too. So all things said, cool send-in. Screams of Anguish is the song by Ghidora up there in Hannahville, Michigan. Jay, do you want to offer some input on it as well?
Sure. So Ghidora, Screams of Anguish. I've been hearing this name quite a bit. Okay. And then so I was kind of excited when the submission was sent in.
Yeah.
I actually prevent myself from listening to a lot of local stuff just in case they might come on the show and I can dive into their catalog or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I like this. Female vocals was great. Like you said, she kind of had some patterns in there and some enunciation too. So if you really dove into it, you could kind of hear what she was saying. To me, this would be almost like new metal.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, if you want to put like an actual finger on it. But, I mean, for being way up north and doing your thing, you know, it's pretty cool to me. I could hear the bass in there. I could hear almost every single bass note. So at least you got the bass across. Yeah, the guitar tone, you know, we could have tightened that up just a little bit or whatever. It seemed kind of fuzzy, but all in all, like a cool jammer. I could see people, you know, jamming out, moshing to it. Don't really know much about their art. It looks like they played a couple, like, you know, bigger shows or whatever.
I was scoping out their or their page, and I saw some big names on some flyers that they got the chance to share the stage with. Down, Chimera, Devin Townsend, Arch Enemy.
Suffocation.
Well, I mean, whatever day they were on, but on this festival, but
yeah,
Suffocation.
I mean, all in all, it kind of looks like they might do the mask thing while they're, because a lot the video they had masks on, and these pictures they have masks and stuff on. But man, pretty cool, like hard rock metal band. That's kind of what I would call it. It doesn't really get much heavier than that. It was straightforward with the 4/4 beats, and you know, there's not grind or thrash or anything like that going on at all. It's kind of just your regular rock and roll, hard rock type thing. But
it was pretty hard for it being a rock style.
Yeah, I would say it's metal still. You know, but and just. I guess my only feedback is because this, I'll just read this little thing on their YouTube on this song. It says this is a live music version or a live version music video of Screams of Anguish. That is the name of our second album. We try to be the indigenous person the creator made us to be. We fight our demons every day just to live. We are surrounded by people who judge and hate and no peace. Sometimes our souls are just screaming in anguish. So, I mean, that's cool that they're, you know, and the indigenous, that's fucking awesome. My only feedback would be, you could clean up the production a little bit, but that's just kind of like, I guess you go at what's available to you at that point. You know? So if you're way up there, maybe you don't have the access to the studios. So you might need DIY. And I get that, but I think your music came across at least. You could hear everything, you know, but if you want to get to that, like you said, you get out of kind of the demo, middle of the road stage and get to that next level of like production, you're gonna have to make a few choices or things. But my feedback would be, just because watching the video, like nothing really went with the music, so it was like
on the video,
so like they're playing live, but not one note matched up with anything.
What they're doing,
so it's kind of confusing just to the eye, because nothing matches up. It's almost like they're playing a completely different song. So I mean, the video and everything looked good. It's just like I would
nothing was synced.
Yeah, I would like at least like have the song that you're playing live match the music to the video, because you can do that just by like slowing some frames down and editing. But I don't know who did your work or whatever. But that would be my feedback for you. Like if you're gonna do a actual live music video, like have it actually go with the music, because it's kind of confusing when you watch. But other than that, appreciate the send in, man. Got love for these guys, dude, from Michigan, way up north. Thanks for finding us. Thanks for the send in. So
yeah, that's cool. Good stuff, Ghidora. Check it out.
All right. So next band is called Collapsed Vein.
Sounds painful.
Yep. Montana, USA. Prepare for the auditory descent into darkness as Collapsed Vein unveils its long-awaited debut album, Pain Communion, on April 18th, 2025.
All right.
This is a one-man death doom project helmed by Kevin George, melds suffocating atmosphere with grandiose textures, drawing comparisons to Yob, Neurosis, and Triptychon. Crafted over a decade of meticulous writing and refinement, Pain Communion is a harrowing exploration of mortality, religious decay, and isolation. The album's weighty riffs and thunderous low end are complemented by haunting pipe organs and ethereal choral arrangements, forging a unique sonic experience that transcends traditional doom metal. So it says, Kevin George's vision for Collapsed Vein is an immersive and stark ritual of despair and transcendence, fusing slow, crushing doom with cathedral-like atmospherics. Pain Communion is more than an album. It's a transformative journey into the abyss. So, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to say.
Well, yeah, he's gassed it up. I mean, I'm ready to go through into the abyss here now. Better deliver, Kevin.
So
I like this doom stuff.
So
the media copy was up top.
Yeah, just click the actual Collapsed Vein name.
Okay.
And we'll just go with this first one that pops up here.
What's the little mail that he submitted?
Oh, I'm not sure what that is. I don't know why that little
for media review, copies, and airplay consideration. Download
just click
the promo here.
Just click the Collapsed Vein.
Okay, the link tree. We got right at the top the YouTube.
I'm gonna go Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
Just trying to see here, as long as it's not like a 12-minute song or something. This one's good. 5:39. We'll go Children of God. That's the one that pops up, so that must be the one that he wants us to hear.
Yeah.
So, all right, you ready?
Yeah, do it.
Pain Communion is the song by the band Collapsed Vein.
Children of God.
Okay, yeah, so that song was Children of God from the album Pain Communion by Collapse Vein. So that was my bad. Yeah. As far as that goes, Doom, this style isn't really my style.
Right.
This is a little heavier than Doom, though. It's kind of like a death Doom. It definitely, a lot of the stuff that he said, just like that torturous, ethereal, just wash of pain and suffering, you can kind of feel that coming through.
Yeah.
Love the dude's vocals. He got really like low and high, like more than you usually will hear in a Doom song.
Yeah.
There was parts about this I really, really liked. It just really pummeled. It was just heavy on you. Just as far as like just
all the layers,
Yeah. And like I said, this usually isn't my style, especially when you get down to, there's a real cool part about 4 minutes in where he started doing this almost like vocal that was cleanish, like you kind of heard him, it was like a yell almost, and that really stuck out to me. This artwork is badass.
Love it.
I don't really know, like I don't listen to this a lot, so I can't really tell you like if one riff is better than the other because they're just kind of all slow, just like just riff. And that's why sometimes it just kind of gets lost on me. But all in all, this was pretty cool. I definitely enjoyed this. I guess my only feedback would have been is that it really just like the guitars took up everything in the mix, like all of the frequencies, so you couldn't really hear anything else. It was just, and especially when you have so many elements going on, you really got to notch out those frequencies and don't let that guitar suck up every frequency there, because I could barely hear drums. I could hear vocals on top of the guitars, and then some of them elements when they came in. But that'd be my feedback, just like on the mixing, like really dial that in. When you add all these elements, you really got to have everything sitting. But all in all, for like Doom Metal or whatever you sent us, like or I get not whatever
Death
you sent
Doom,
us, but Death Doom, did a great job at it, man. Like I said, this usually isn't my style. I probably wouldn't put this on just because it's not my thing. But at the same time, I think it was pretty fucking awesome, and like the vocals really stood out. And real quick before you jump in on this, this was released April 18th, 2025. This was produced by Kevin George, mixed and mastered by him.
Yep.
It says all instruments and vocals recorded in Great Falls, Montana by him. It says all guitars, bass, drums, vocals, keyboards, and arrangements.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that he's doing live drums on this, because it doesn't say anything about drum programming or anything. I don't know, but that would be cool if it really was a one-man band and he did play everything. And that's pretty fucking sweet.
That's talent.
So yeah, all in all, man, I mean, this, just because it's not something I would put on, I mean, this is for somebody, it
was pretty well done.
Good.
It's pretty well done. So for me, I definitely love this style of music. I thought this was a great song. This is something I would listen to. It sounded like maybe some older Paradise Lost, even that old Anathema. So stuff I'm familiar with, and I'm sure there's. It's not my favorite style either. However, I do gravitate toward things like this. Didn't have any clean or female vocals, so I can't say like Draconian, but where Draconian is like heavy on the fry vocal only, like that would be the Collapse Vein style. They had an Aleister Crowley poem in there. They hit me over the head with some evil Latin. He even got a credit in there. The poem on that was a poem on Pissgrave. Excuse me. So that was not. He did go into some Latin in this one though, so that was pretty cool. I guess I would share some of the sentiment about the mixing mastering, where once the keyboards are in and the two guitars are coming in, it was a lot like in my ears to try to decide like what's the main focus here. Am I supposed to be drawn into the guitar pattern, or am I supposed to be listening to that atmospheric keyboard, which if it's just going to be atmosphere, it needed to go down in the mix a little bit. And all in all, maybe some of the things could have gone down in the mix. I'm not a producer, but I'm just giving you like my listener feedback, because it was a little like intense, like all things considered. And I think this kind of goes to a point that we've made on the show several times, is that when you're doing your own recording and then you're doing your own mixing and then you're doing your own mastering, at some point along the way, I think it's healthy to get a second set of ears in the room, and somebody who can kind of help say, all right, here the wave is just maxing out on all these frequencies. We got to adjust a few things. So, Kevin, if you know a guy or a friend who also records, those are the moments where you want to reach out and say, hey, give me some feedback. Because I think when you take all of that on, you kind of almost, you just go numb to it.
You're just so close to it.
Yeah, and you're just used to hearing it all the same every day, and so those changes you might not know to make or think to make, whereas somebody else could just come in and say, oh, we got to bring a few things down. We're going to tighten this part up here a little bit on a tone, just some volume adjustments, and that's the only feedback I have for it on the recording level. On the musical level, though, I love it. Like Death Doom is something I absolutely enjoy putting on, and I'll go for a walk, and it's it's not my number one favorite, but I prefer it to a lot of other things because I know I'm not gonna get hit over the head with too much grind or blast or anything. Yeah. And I can sit there and soak in all that slow, melodramatic, morose. I just love it. It's something for me for sure. And I love the artwork too as I'm looking at it. I'm just like, dude,
super sick.
Great artwork. Yeah. I want to see something like that for every track. Just flipping through the book, just all that. Yeah. So Children of God was the name of the song by Collapsed Vein. They've got an album just came out in April called Pain Communion. If you guys are into Death Doom, that was pretty good. I could listen to the whole thing. Like when I speak to the mix, it wasn't like, it's not good. It's not what I'm saying. I just felt like, when some other things you could compare it to where you would get a little bit more balance out of all of that instrumentation in a mix. That's all it is. I think I could listen to the whole thing.
I think for me, it's just like, man, just put the guitars 2 dB down and you could probably clean that up a lot.
Right.
I mean, there's a few fuzzy frequencies in there, but you don't have to even get that precise or surgical with it. Just like turn the guitars down a little bit, because when you're a guitar player, I can always hear a guitar player's mix because they're like, turn me up, motherfucker. Yeah. But, when you are doing these one-man things, and, when Eric from Black Temple, our buddy's on the show, he said, he's doing everything for certain mixes or, doing a lot of the, drums and guitar, but then he sends it to me and sends it to a few other people that have so just send it to a few guys and say, hey, what give me some feedback. Don't be so like married to your art that like, I get it when you want to be proud and be like, I did all this, but like, you only got 2 years, buddy, and 10 years might be better than 2. Just to give you some feedback on it, So.
And I don't sit around recording myself a lot, but I would imagine that if you're hearing it for hours and hours and hours, then it's harder to make those changes because then your brain is just used to hearing it, and then you're just maybe not making the changes that could or should be made. But yeah, great sending. I enjoyed it. Good stuff.
Cool. Moving on. Next band is MORTOFOBIA.
All right.
El Silencio de la Muerta.
Some Silence of the Dead.
I am Cartoligo, vocalist and guitarist. We are from Cochabamba, Bolivia, South America.
Okay.
We have been playing death metal since 1992.
Wow.
So this is actually one of the ones we cut one of the songs short one day, and this is one of the ones that was supposed to go on one of the other episodes. So it's about time we get into this. I'm clicking the link now, or you just let me know when you're ready because I paused it actually. It doesn't look like it's an actual music video though.
That's fine.
You ready?
It's like doing a weird spinny thing, but yeah, go for it.
I can wait a second.
It's good. It's just doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here you go. This dude better not be trolling us with 4 minutes of this shit.
enemistad a tiempo. El reposo de tu perdido, el fallecimiento al doliente, el silencio de la muerte, es el silencio de la muerte.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so these guys down there in the middle of the South American continent in, Bolivia, was it? Man, so it reminded me of maybe some blackened brujeria. I was just feeling like I've heard some brujeria, and it kind of reminded me of that. A lot of it has to do with, in fact, yes, the Spanish.
Yeah.
That definitely draws me to the brujeria. Love the artwork on the video. Love the logo of the band. Sick. Like just all the sickles and scythes and yeah, just a really cool death metal logo. I liked the song all right, especially when you got to like 320 in after the fast vocal part and then they get into like that chugging groove. I was like, all right, that riff's for me. Definitely had a lot going on in there. So not probably a style I don't listen to that much, but I thought it was pretty good. Although that said, same as the last band, you kind of like working with what you got in the studio. So some of that production for me was like, it just, it is what it is. Sometimes we get spoiled on the show. You get some like really great production coming through. You're like, oh my God, these cats like do the work in the lab. But just as far as musical and on the song, like the vocals, like, maybe not my favorite vocals, but I did like the diversity between like the main low and then in the background you had the high. So they had the one part where the guy's just kind of grunting low and then the guy in the background doing the high vocals, like, yeah, nasty. Yeah. So that was pretty cool too. I appreciate that. Usually with a style of band like this, I'm thinking I want a guitar solo. Like that's just me though. I'm like, when we're doing death metal and the vocals aren't really like the main thing, or they're just kind of percussive, as Adam Cody would say, like that's just a percussive thing. Yeah. Then I would like for a breath for a guitar solo. But yeah, if you're into just some brutal blackened kind of, well, I wouldn't say too blackened, but it just was kind of crusty, like dirty death metal. Yep. Yeah, this is definitely for you. So I'm sure there's more of the same to be expected out of this band. MORTOFOBIA with El Silencio de la Muerte.
So yeah, for me, old school brutal death metal, that's what I would label it as. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You said you've been playing death metal since 1992. You've been playing the same kind of death metal since 1992 probably, because there isn't really, I hear no new school touch in there. There's no melody to be found. Yeah. A whole lot of tension, not a whole lot of release. Because even when they went to that groove, that like they could have fucking went in a they could have broke it down or whatever. But it was just that like stiff, like nope, I'm not letting you get it. You're not getting that little fucking groove from me. Yep, no beat groove there. But on the show, you take what you get and you take it for what you get. And old school brutal death metal, I wouldn't expect anything else. Yeah. Except just, like going to what you said, a little cleaner production would definitely benefit you. I did like the variation of the vocals when he was like super low at the beginning. And then like in the middle of the song, they introduced the high part. And then at the end of the song, he kind of went to a different vocal as well. So even though there wasn't a lot to hang on to, at least you weren't trying to throw all them three vocals on every single part of the song, because then that would have just really made it all almost just blend together as one thing. But like you said, this old school death metal logo just kind of reminds me, like with the scythe and the uninverted cross, it's kind of like, where'd you see that before? Yeah. Maybe death? I don't know. But possessed death. But hey, that's cool, man. Fucking keep doing your thing. Thanks so much for the send-in all the way from there, man. Stuff like this is always going to get love on the show no matter what, because that's kind of where we started, was the death metal. Yeah. So I get it. I get what you're going for. And sometimes you just want to be brutal. So, man, I understand, dude.
I feel like we didn't get quite a 1992 start with what we were doing, but I'd say a 95, 96, 97, somewhere in there. So we were hearing a lot of the same things as they were back in the day. We're just probably a few years younger than the members here or the main member of MORTOFOBIA. But yeah, we came up on that stuff too, so we appreciate it. I think we've, added a lot more to our listening catalog over the years. But
exactly.
I still harken back to some of that stuff. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, if you just want that brutal, no melody, fucking war bestial in your face, whatever you want to call it, it's just that's that for you, man.
Yeah, they did it,
and I'm not mad about it, man.
Not mad at all.
So thank you guys for that.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you.
So next band, Rancor. So this was a reply because it says absolutely heavy is the goal, because when they sent it in, I responded back, is this heavy metal? Because of our whole heavy metal debacle on the show, you know? So it says, thank you guys so much for the response. I'll attach a few links to various streaming places and our Instagram. We really just want to introduce as many folks as we can to ourselves and some of the great music West Virginia has to offer. It may be underground, but West Virginia hardcore is alive and well.
All right.
So this song is called Grinding Teeth by Rancor, and this actually came out in 2025, it says here. So if you're ready, I'm ready.
All right. Let's see, where are we going? Just with the Spotify?
Yeah.
All right. Do it.
Here we go.
No, don't mourn him. He was dead long before we ever touched him.
Bastard!
Suffering around consequence. Take your own pain. You have nothing to say to me. I'm better the pain. I won't forgive, I won't forget. And you not say you're dead to me. This all stole my warrants. Red consumes my sight. Resentment holding on tight. The sound is strong, narcissistically strange. That boils the blood. I'm fucking grinding my teeth. Shit pours out. Waste of life, open wide. Right now, shit pours out. Waste of life, open wide. I can see right through you. Your way of life, I despise your kind. No longer breath. No one is coming for you. Cry one too many times. You're not my kind. Never a part of me. May you never rest in peace. Forever grinding dead. Like a real shit pours out. Waste of life open wide. Like a real shit pours out. Waste of life open wide. I can see right through you. Your way of life, I despise your kind. No longer breath. No one is coming for you. Cry one too many times.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was so good.
All right. So Rancor, Grinding Teeth. That was badass, dude.
Loved it.
I really like it. I mean, it you could say that was, like hardcore. It was in that vein. There were some two-steppers in there for you. But there was a lot of song structure, so it was like kind of some callbacks and everything. I love that part more towards the end where you heard some of that melody guitar coming through with the open chords. Like, I'm like, man, I would dive into that a little bit more. Some of that, exploring that melody plus this heaviness. Like, you guys would be fucking like. That's where the sweet spot is. But this artwork is super fucking badass of this mutant thing, whatever it is, person that's falling apart, and the logo's cool as fuck. It sounded great. The drums, were
great
actually
production.
pounding. Yeah. And that's the kind of drums that all of the other recordings today should probably sound like, at least that far forward in the mix, I think, because that's where you get your power from, is with that beat that you can feel. It's a big thing. The guitar shouldn't carry the music as far as I'm concerned. But man, I absolutely love this. The dude didn't have a lot of diversity in his vocals, and that's okay, because I could understand what he was saying. He had patterns and he didn't fucking scream over everything, so like it wasn't just one monotonous long thing. So he had the breakups, and he was just pissed. And sometimes when you're just pissed, like, you can get away with not doing the vocal Olympics. I'm cool with that. I know you needed 1 or 2 good vocals. I'm cool with that, man. If you can do it well, fucking do it, man. But Rancor, definitely heavy. You guys are keeping hardcore alive here in West Virginia. And thank you so much for that, man, because goddamn, that was badass. I loved it.
Yeah, it looks like I found at least one of the members. They don't have any Facebook presence, but Jesse Sneed promoting his band, and he must be one of the main members. He does a lot of promotion on his site. I loved it. I love that hardcore meets metal. When they introduced the melody part, that also really, I was already neck snapping with that beat. He did a riff where he changed the beat over it, where it was kind of grooving, and then he just went to that 1-2, and I was like, oh, get it. So you see me just going off as you're watching the video on YouTube here, but also, then you open it up with the melody, and I'm starting to think, okay, now we're a little bit more well-rounded. We've got a few other influences that we can display in our songwriting. So that really had me hooked in. And again, when you talk about production, like, this is kind of what I was hoping for, or what I would speak to on the other 2 songs or 3 songs, where it's like, this is some pretty good production. For a hardcore band, you don't normally go for that sort of thing. You normally don't mind if it's a little raw, loose, and, not perfect in terms of a quality of the recording, but this one was great. I figured you like captured the essence of hardcore, but also had like enough metal moments in it too, where it does help when you're a little bit more dialed in and cleaned up on the production when you're doing metal, as we've discussed before with Jeremy and Luke on the show. On the one hand, you got your hardcore, just all emotive, emotional and or attitude based,
punk vibe.
Yeah, and just the energy of it. Yep. And then with the metal, it's kind of like stand there, lock in, play your instrument precise, and you're not really too worried about it. So kind of a great crossover, if you will. And also the artwork pretty sick. Like you got almost like a zombified Hannibal Lecter type guy on the cover with a pretty mean looking logo of the band, and interesting symbol, not quite a pentagram. I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, pretty cool star there. 6. What is it?
6 of them. 6 of them.
6 points. So yeah, pretty neat. I like it. Good send in, man. Grinding Teeth by Rancor. Need to hear some more from you guys for sure. That was pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
All right. So on to the next one. Wisher says, hi there. Just want to introduce my band Wisher. If you haven't heard of us, here's our new song, Get Off. We are inspired by Avenged Sevenfold and Nightwish. We love to connect with more fantasy run fest metalheads and gamers. We love to nerd out with new friends over music and games. We would love to tour arenas in Europe someday, and our vibe in Wisher's world is very Treasure Planet-esque. Thanks for your time and interest. It is very much appreciated. So clicking on the YouTube link now. I'll try to stop it so maybe you can click in when you're ready.
Jump in.
Fucking keep going. Say no, not to.
Okay. I'm there.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go!
Setting off at a 10, we're enemies.
right. Make a wisher. Toss a coin to your wisher. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Let me see here. So it definitely fits the description of what the band is, and some great musicians to boot, in my opinion. I was like, okay, we're going to do trade-off solos. We got an awesome bassist in here. We're going to let him stand out even. Great tone. I thought maybe that was a Rickenbacker. I'm not 100% sure, but...
Looks like it.
Yeah, I mean, my man was playing some bass, so that's cool. He was walking the dog. And again, you got the trade-off solos in there on the back end of the song, so that was really good. And the Nightwish vocalist style. So, like... That's definitely a really tall order when you don't want to compare yourself to the Nightwish vocals, but did a good job. And as she says throughout the back end of the song, let's have some fun. That's what the style of music really is. We're just going for like this upbeat, just kind of almost like a major chord progression throughout the whole song. And they had some chuggies in there too to kind of lean into some heaviness or an element of heaviness. So that's pretty cool too. Overall, you and I know, probably don't listen to this style very often. Right. It just comes our way sometimes, and you just take it for what it is, and you enjoy it for what it is. And I thought they did a good job. Had some good production on there too. I didn't have any problem with anything that I was hearing there. And overall, like it is what they say it is. I thought it leaned more toward the Nightwish than the Avenged Sevenfold, but also a fair comparison because a lot of that Avenged is kind of like on that upbeat, almost pop metal here in the U.S. Where it's not bad, but it's also sometimes I'm wanting like more of that bite, more of that grit, more of that just heavy in your face. But great sense of melody, great songwriting, and a really good send-in by Wisher with Get Off.
So for me, I was going to say the thing that Nick always says and just say, that was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
They're actually from Detroit.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Breakdown for me, not normally something I would listen to, but I thought this was executed very well. At first, I was a little apprehensive because it was super on the basic side, and I was like, okay, well, maybe we're just a couple chords. But then at the end, they were like, okay, now time to display the musicianship.
Yeah.
I thought the vocals were excellent.
Yep.
As far as her clean singing, they were great songwriting on that front. To me, there was more of the 70s vibe with the whole mix and everything, almost kind of more of an old school kind of like a metal thing going on. You could lend that to maybe some Iron Maiden or something like that, more of the upbeat style rock and roll. But I actually enjoyed this, all through and through. Like you said, great trade-off solos. You could hear everything very well throughout. If I was going to critique, and it always comes usually down to the mix because at the end of the day, it's your art, but I can critique the mix. And I was just going to say, like, if you got a vocalist that's that good, you might want to pump her up a little bit in the mix. I felt like she could have been a little more forward facing because she is with a band like this, like that's your forward facing member of the band.
Yeah.
She represents the band, the red hair, the mystique, the dress, everything.
The look,
like
everything about it.
She's got it going on. So I just felt like maybe I could have got a little more of the vocal up front, but that's just being picky. Other than that, dude, I thought it was great. I appreciate the send in, and you guys keep doing you. Like I said, would I listen to it? No, because I just lean more towards the heavier stuff, but at the same time, if you send it in, I'm going to rock to it because I thought it was cool.
Yeah, and also if you're on a bill with some other bands that I'm there to see, I'm going to just totally appreciate your set. Yeah, I'm going to raise a drink to that. Like I won't leave the room for it. Like I'm going to be there watching you for sure. So
and make sure to go up to talk to you when you're done. Because in this day and age, it's weird. We listen to so much music. We're all over the board. A lot of times we lean towards the heavy stuff. That's the stuff we listen to.
Yeah.
But it's just like it makes me happy that there are people out there living their truth.
Yeah.
And that's this band.
Yeah,
they
for sure.
know what they want to be.
Yeah.
This is what they are.
Yeah.
And they live it to the fullest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you say, let's have some fun, you could tell they're having fun. They're enjoying what they're doing. And that brings me joy to know that this type of music or your art is bringing you joy, and I respect that all the way, man. I think it's great. So.
Yeah, and I think I could see this band, getting together and not playing their instruments every once in a while and just doing a little D&D campaign or some Magic the Gathering or whatever it is that they do. Maybe they do a little Warcraft, or they mentioned one that I wasn't familiar with, Treasure Planet. Don't know it, but it just feels like there's a whole camaraderie between the members that they all agree on this style and what they want to sing about. So. Good stuff. Good send in. I really appreciate it.
I love the drummer was like, I refuse to wear a shirt.
Yep. I got muscles.
I get it, man.
I was young once.
Take your shirt off, dude.
I had muscles too one day.
Yeah, you live your truth, buddy. All right, cool. So we move on to the next one. This one's Mafia Birdhouse, which is an interesting name for a band.
Yeah.
Not real sure what that means.
Yeah, interesting.
And I didn't get much. All their Facebook says is Midwestern heavy tunes. I was trying to look more into this band. There's not a lot out there about these guys. This and the next band, I remember. I'm trying to look at some stuff.
I saw that they had a flyer out where they did a show at the Sanctuary with Annex Void and some others, Feast for the Crows, Oak and Ivy. So that was a little while back. Oh, it was May 2nd, so about a month back.
Okay.
The most recent flyer they posted.
So, Mafia Birdhouse with the song Blight. You ready?
Yeah, let's see here. Come on, go for it.
First, ask, then pull the trigger. Shoot. First, ask, later. Who the fuck gave you the privilege to sit back and play God? Eternal enemies, all of your bodies on the street. Just ever protect me, nothing. A never-ending game of vanity. I've seen through the lies and now I find cowards hiding behind the blue line. No fucking words to be wasted. It's point and shoot if the blame is on you. Spew out the hatred created. Disguise setting out of plain sight. Back in a blood for a conflict commando. Pull the trigger, shoot first, ask later. Who think you're worthy to stay alive? You fucking universe. I hope your conscience is never clean. I hope you sleep in the bloodshed hell. My only prayer is that hell burns brighter just for you. The knees to the neck of society. I hope you never rest in peace. Knees to the neck of society. I hope you never rest in peace.
Oh, there you have it. Mafia Birdhouse. Blight.
Man, that was fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
I thought that was great, dude.
Fucking
Holy
angry.
shit. Like, the drummer.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. I loved all the little, like, turnarounds in the music where it almost, like, felt a little jilted and they kind of got it back on track. It's, like, all purposeful. Like, these weird little extra counts or, like, these little extra beats and the little stops in the drum fills. And the vocalist was just pissed off the whole time. Kind of remind me of, you know, the hardcore style, a little more chaotic. But, you know, the vocal, I hate to say like Brian from Knock Loose or whatever, but a
little bit.
Yeah, but a little bit of that just pissy, like fucking angry scream type shit. But he did get a couple more like lower vocals and stuff in there. Yeah. But I absolutely enjoyed this, man. I thought it was cool as fuck. It was controlled chaos, and sometimes I can just go for that. Everything sounded good. I could hear everything really well. It was really pushed to the limit, and I think that goes perfect with this kind of music. Dude, I'm a fan of this band. This shit is cool. It's like reined in because they had song structure and they came back to a few parts like Pull the Trigger,
right?
Shoot First, Ask Later, and then just ending the Rest in Peace with On Beat.
Yeah,
that was fucking sweet, dude. Like there were some great choices in this music, and I fucking enjoyed it, dude. What a cool band.
Yeah, I appreciated this immediately, and from start to finish, it was a great song. It did remind me of bands like, say, maybe a Better Lovers or Every Time I Die.
Yep.
Like those are the vibes. Those are the vibes I'm getting immediately.
Yep. Good comparison.
Almost like that noisy groove metal, but they did a lot of different things. It wasn't just like all groove. It was a lot of that was kind of jilted or with the odd times almost, but also maybe Funeral Language for shout out homie, Mr. Eilers out there in Indianapolis. But good stuff. I appreciate it. I was like just grumpy faced the whole time, especially with the singing, just like that emotive, just scream, just almost unhinged, like just let it fly. So that was fun and great mix too, great production, great recording. I'll listen to some more of this, man.
I was thinking the same thing. Dude.
Yeah, you guys put on get out there and do a few more shows, get on some bills, and a little more activity on the socials, just so I can like engage with you, because it's kind of sparse as I'm scrolling through. I know you don't want to like oversaturate your social media with like maybe daily posts, but I don't think it's a bad thing, because when I'm scrolling, it's like I want to know that you're active. I want to know that you're doing something. So
yeah,
you don't have anything since like April.
And I've said this before, but I'll reiterate again for this show. When we're trying to look into your band and give them us information, and you just send us a Spotify link, and then I go to your Facebook, and then there's
also sparse.
There's nothing on there. It's like I don't know, dude. Like I don't know. Like I would like to share you guys' music with our audience and tell more about you guys, and people want to know about you guys if they like that song. So I just need a little bit more as well, just on the social fronts, and maybe it's just a project that you do when you have time or whatever. I do like the artwork too. It's like this cool drawing cartoon stuff, and it seems to be a theme on all of their stuff. So I kind of like that too. Pretty badass band, but man, you guys, I would like to see more from you guys.
Yeah, on all fronts. Like a little. I don't know anything about these five guys and their lives, but I feel like if you can get it together, like a little more activity out of you would be sweet, especially if you're in the area where I can go and check you out, because I fuck with that hard. Like that was good. That was so good. And I could, like, having seen some of the bands that have come through the studio, for one, we'll have you. I'm sure we'll have you. Come on in.
Yep.
And also, like, you would fit on a bill with a lot of the bands that we've had come through here. So I want to see your guys' name on some flyers, because I would probably circle the date and set it aside for you if I knew that you were going to be at least in my half of the state. Otherwise, I'm not a stranger to driving across the state, but when we talk about going to Detroit and back in a day, I'm usually out on that business, because the last time I did that, I almost died. So I just can't. It's like tough, it gets to an hour of the night where I can't. Like
it's tough, man. It's a tough.
So I need you guys to meet me halfway at a Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids area.
No shit.
Then I'll be out there. You'll have one fan at least in the audience, maybe two if it's a weekend.
Yep.
All right, but great send in, good song, loved it. Thank you guys.
All right, man. Cool, couple good ones there in a row for sure, man.
Loved it.
Good little streak there. So
our style.
We have Get the Gatling. Now, this is another band. Before I even get into this, they sent us a Spotify link. Maybe there's something more here on their Spotify, but another band that I could not even find anything about these guys. I don't even know how they found us, because I don't know how to find them, but I feel like they're a band from Michigan, but I don't even know if I don't even think they have a Facebook, so I don't.
No, I'm on it.
Are you?
Yeah. Get the Gatling.
There's nothing on there though, is there? It says nothing about their band.
It says new official page, new era of Gatling, and then that's the bio.
I saw yesterday, so when I was getting ready for this, I didn't.
And then got some posts. The last posts looked like they were okay. So we got a reel in May. And I got it muted, but then last reels were in March. So I like the logo, though, that I'm getting out of these guys. Like, pretty sick as you scroll into it.
All right, we'll get into the song. So this is called Oh Skinwalker by Get the Gatling.
Yeah, I like the artwork for that release. Skinwalker. I feel like we had a Skinwalker reference not too long back.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Great song, man. Good stuff. Great production. Awesome vocals all around. You just almost with the vocal Olympics and almost like on the edge of too many deathcore vocals. But also, I loved all the variety in the vocals, but a great mix. I love the production on this thing. Just slapped me right away with the heavy and the fast. Sometimes that's a hard thing to pull off, heavy and fast, but they did a great job with this one. This one was a banger. I had to wait for it. I was almost going to say, but on the second half of the song, I did start to hear the bass in the back with it was kind of rumbling behind the guitars. Whereas in the first half of the song, for whatever reason, I wasn't hearing any of it whatsoever. I just felt like everything was like treble, drums, guitar treble, and vocals. And I'm like, where is the bass in this mix? So in the second half of the song, I did hear like a little bit of dirty bass growling in the background. So, that's my only critique is I would have liked to have heard some of that tone up front. It just gives you more, it just gives you more grit when you got that dirty bass and you can hear it rumbling in the right off the rip. But absolutely love that song. Love that you had the vocal diversity and that you went there with the clean vocals. I didn't imagine clean vocals coming out of that
I didn't
song.
see that either.
For the first 2 minutes or whatever before we get to him singing, I was just like, this is going to be nonstop screaming in my face. But yeah, it took it there, and I appreciate it. That was pretty cool. Didn't see it coming, but I appreciated it. Really loved it. Jay, what do you want to say on it?
So first things first, I thought this might have been like maybe a solo project, but I seen James Clark Stanley 3 and Philip Justin Harris 2. They're both 3s and 2s. So one's a composer, lyricist, the other's the composer. So at least there's 2 dudes in the band. I don't know if this is a live project. I don't know much about this project.
Right.
I seen myself about to go into my vocal rant.
I tried to head you off the pass.
Bi-weekly vocal rant reaction episode, but he did stop. He broke it up as soon as the clean singing came in. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I can live with this because at least you brought into a nice pattern and a clean singing. And then there were some parts at the end where you didn't sing over it. So, I'm always going to say 15% less vocals, but you're not going to hear my rant today about that because you did a good job with the vocals and where you put them.
Yeah.
And, sometimes when you're doing like solo project shit, you're just like, well, I just kind of want to scream over everything because that's what I'm trying to do, But
go off, King.
I'm not mad at it at all. I don't. I did at least all the vocals you did do were really fucking badass.
Yeah, tight.
Like you said, nice and fast, heavy. I love the little grind over the singing just for like that one measure or 2 beats or whatever. Thought that was a nice little touch. And I did like the breakdown at the end where we went into the high pass or low pass filter into the high pass, going into the clean singing and the little groove at the end or whatever. But yeah, I thought this was great, man. I thought that was absolutely awesome. My only feedback would, if you want people to know about your band and you're sending stuff in to get it reviewed on a podcast like this, have a little more presence on your Facebook because you want to make sure you're getting your music out there because I know nothing about your band. You got 3 pictures and your Facebook thing says new era of Gatling. I don't even know what that means because I don't know what the old era of the Gatling was. So that's my only feedback. Other than that, production, everything was great. Keep doing your thing and keep fucking jamming, man.
A lot of times I imagine it's a case of people working a lot and they just don't want to come home to make that energy for the social media part of it where we're already writing, we're already recording, we're already busy with our art. And it's just kind of one of those necessary evils when you're putting out content. You kind of have to make a time or set aside a day for that. And I'm sure it sucks. And also, you get personalities where they're like, I just don't do social media.
Yeah.
Like I don't fuck with it. Like it drains me, and we get that. Like we're on it enough. We go back and forth on it a little bit. He handles one, I handle the other, but it's it's just one of those things where you want to have the engagement online.
Yeah.
So, but as far as the music goes, music is great. You guys are doing awesome things. Just want to hear more from you immediately and. Again, when we're getting to know you, like first time I come over to your page, kind of want a lot more. I just want inundated with information and pictures and reels, and just want to be able to get to know you. I see you got a reel where you're talking to the camera back in May, and then besides that, you got a couple of posts, supporting the new song. But I think it's time to hit us with some more. Just flood us a little bit more with information and content because. That was great, and that just leaves me wanting more. But since you're not very active, I don't know, when I'm going to be able to discover more from you. Like,
and
if you'll even be in my algorithm at all, because if you make one post in 1 month, it's easy to just scroll past it and miss it, you know? Yep. So kind of want to be a little bit more active.
And that's just going to the feedback of like, say somebody was stumbled across that on Spotify and was like a big fan all of a sudden, you know, just was like, oh, that's incredible. Then they try to find you. They're probably not going to like be a fan that you could have kept because they don't know anything about your band. They don't know, there's nothing there to grab onto. So it's easy just to forget about your band. You could put out the best song in the world, but if no one hears it or no one attaches, like they want to see your face, they want to see a name, they want to see some history, they want to know a little bit about you because they fall in love with you as a person, not just your music always too. So, you know, that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, maybe you don't have to do the Gary Vee and post 3 times a day on a fucking 9 social media platforms, 7 days a week. Okay, I get that, but like 1 post a month. Now we're getting to the territory with I don't care how much you work, you better do it on break, you better find time to do it, or you better think about other ways than just coming up with new songs because this is just the world we live in. You want to get your stuff out there, you better get on these platforms, you know.
Yeah,
so
it sucks, but
it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
But other than that, cool band.
Good
just
music.
Couldn't tell you anything about them. All right. For the final submission, this band is Ghost in Motion. It says metalcore trap band from Flint, Michigan. Cam Robbie vocals, Matt drums vocals, Preston Devin guitar. So they have
no bass. At least they're not lying to me.
Yeah, I mean,
no lies, no bass.
So, okay, so I get it. So they got 2 vocals and 2 guitars.
Yep.
Vocals better learn how to play bass. Jesus Christ, you need 2 vocals and
Cam Robbie on vocals, Matt drums and vocals. Oh, we got Preston and Devin on guitars.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so song Unity Peace by Ghost in Motion.
Trapped in like a slide.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. Great. Hit me. You're up.
So I was kind of apprehensive when it said metalcore trap.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought I was just going to hear a bunch of like white boy rapping or something on it.
Yeah.
Like, so I was kind of scared at first, but like that was pretty badass, dude. Like I really liked it. I do remember this name obviously because Splinters. Remember when they were on?
Yep.
They featured somebody from this band, assuming it's one of the vocalists. Then like looking at their page, they actually got a lot of stuff going on here, so that's cool. Got some pretty big shows coming up. They played with people that have been on the show before. See You Next Tuesday.
Heartsick, Let It Rot.
Heartsick, Let It Rot. I mean, you know, He Who Dwells. So they're in the ethos. They're out there, they're jamming, they're playing shows. See a couple flyers, some bigger names too that they've opened for. So these are guys are out there and in motion.
Yeah.
But they're moving and they're shaking. I really enjoyed the music. I love the clean singing part. I love the diversity. Not everything's heavy just for the sake of being heavy. The production was done really well. I heard a lot of bass in there, so I don't know. Maybe
what's that look like?
Yeah, I'm like, what? They lost their bass player. Maybe we were playing with backing tracks. Yeah. You don't really need a bass player if you got in-ears anymore, I guess, if you got a click track, because you can just pipe it through. But heard a lot of bass for not having a bass player. But, you know, I guess that is, or maybe they're looking for a bass player. Maybe they got someone on the line. But Ghost in Motion, I was not disappointed. Everything about it was pretty fucking sweet, and I'm glad I didn't really hear no white boy rap, so I was cool with that. Like,
there was like a verse in there.
Yeah, and it was
and
I wouldn't even be like, oh, that's rap, but just more of the rhythm of the vocal. Like, I don't know. Maybe they get into it a little bit more and some other stuff, but when you call yourself trap, like, then I'm start thinking we stop and we break down to the sub 808s and the trap hi-hats and all this different stuff. So
now, bear in mind also, as I'm looking at all their other releases, this is an older single that they asked us to play. This goes all the way back to 2022.
Oh, okay.
Is the release date on the Unity Peace track, and then they've got some more stuff since then. But this is the one they sent us to play, and so that's the one we played. And who knows what changes have occurred over that. Maybe they had a bass player back then. But I loved it. So for me, I'm kind of easy when it comes to the metalcore thing. I'm like almost a slam dunk. Oh, metalcore, I don't like it. Like I just like there's metalcore that's not good. It's too commercial and cheesy. This is not that. This is really good metalcore that I want. It kind of reminded me of that No Eye Has Seen.
Oh, okay.
So it had that newer wave of metalcore where it's heavy, it's instrumental, great production, great diversity in the vocals because you went from the fry and the screaming. You did like a one verse for the rapping, and then you did the clean vocals too. So when you got stuff like that, like I'm usually like yes, 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 all of it, more, more, more. So really only praise from me, not even any critiques whatsoever. Just if you're gonna have bass, I would say have a bassist, but maybe you got 5 guys already. You're like, the room's crowded. We don't have room for a bassist. And, you know, we just pipe it in where we need it. And that's fine too. I mean, sometimes you don't need a whole person. You just like keyboards. Sometimes you're like, well, we use keyboards, but we don't need a keyboardist because we're not Dream Theater and we don't utilize a keyboard to the capacity that we need a member.
Correct.
You know, so I get it. I hate to see my role of a musician diminished to a backing track, but at the same time, I get it. Not everybody needs, you know, that person in the room. It's not a big part of the sound, or it's a part of the sound, but it's not. It's not the main thing. So
cool.
What else? So that's it for us today.
Yeah, we're done for today.
We gotta go.
We got guests here now. So all right. With that being said, much love. Keep it metal.
Peace.
Thank you so much for checking out the episode. Be sure to hit that like button and give us a share.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed our podcast today, please give it a rating on your streaming service to help us gain some exposure.
And if you really enjoyed the show, please give us a follow or hit that subscribe button and come hang out with us every week. And remember, keep it metal.